What is going on, everybody, on here? And tonight we're going to have a little bit of fun. I had a sub in Discord ask me a very simple question. And the question was, hey, Anon, is it possible to turn $10,000 into $100,000 doing nothing but passive investing, no singles flipping, no bullshit trade up challenges where people give you free tendies because they know who you are? None of that crap. Is it possible to do it in a year? And I said, I don't think you can do it in a year, but I'm pretty sure you could get really damn close in 2 years. So my weapon of choice here, well, first of all, there is one rule. I have to buy at retail. I can't buy at distribution. I have to buy at a price that you can buy on the open market, and you have to be able to buy a substantial amount. So, nobody's saying, well, I paid $65 for a booster bundle from some flipper at Meyer, even though the buying market is 80% of 95. That doesn't work because that's not part of this. So you have to be able to buy it at this price on a reputable website, whether it's TCG Player, Fortune Fire, Stomping Grounds, through Rudy's program, through my program, Collector Store. There's a ton of them, Double Infinity. So you have to be able to buy it for realsy, right? And obviously you have to buy enough at that price point to be able to put $10,000 to work. So I did a little bit of work on this. And the first thing that was very apparent is you could just throw Bandai out the window, because if you're retail, you're paying way too much right now. And the returns are going to be muted because of the price point you have to buy in on. Same thing with Pokemon. There's really no turbocharged returns in Pokemon. And quite honestly, even before the bull market, there wasn't. The reason why we've all had turbocharged returns is because we had a significant shift in the price curve in the last 2 years. So the obvious choice, and I have a lot of people ask me why I sell Magic the Gathering. And the reason I sell Magic the Gathering is something that most people don't see. Magic the Gathering product performs extremely well. When the product comes out or it gets reprinted, the prices are super, super affordable and damn close to distribution price. The market churns extremely quickly because a lot of people buy the decks or the play boxes. They buy singles, and the prices move up because Wizards is having a difficult time getting things printed for the last 2 years. So I looked at the collector box returns and I passed on that. The collector box returns are something that it's kind of in fashion for people to talk about. Look, is this going to be the next one to hit $1,000? But I'm not really factoring that in here because I don't think it's super viable, for one. For two, quite honestly, the returns aren't just as good as what we're going to look at here. So what I did, and quite honestly, this is what I did as a business owner. This is where I sunk my funds in. This is where we bought and we sold. And the first thing I want to mention, and it's difficult to get the information if you retail, unless you're in Discord with somebody like myself. So I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, 99.9% of the time, when a reprint of a product is coming, if it's on my radar. Now, if it's Tarkir Play and we get some extra product in, I don't give a shit about Tarkir Play. Quite honestly, it's a shitty product. The EV is terrible. Yes, the boxes are cheap and then they move up, but not something that I look at. So I generally look at Commander displays first. And play boosters, now that we are 3 years into the play booster era, we've started to see how they age. We have Duskmorn, which I didn't even put Duskmorn on here. I fucking should have put Duskmorn on here. Well, I guess we didn't really get a reprint, so there's no need for that, or OTJ. Commander displays have traditionally moved up very, very strongly, and you have so little downside because you can always rip them and sell singles, and the expected value is always going to be plus or minus 10, 15%, with obviously more upside based on the individual or the cards that are in the display. So going back to what I did for business. So in January of 2025, we had Ixalan Commander, Bloomburrow Commander, and Duskmorn Commander. WotC reprinted them, and WotC dumped them. So the distribution price for Ixalan Commander was like 108, Bloomborough 108, Duskborn 108. I've adjusted these buy prices here because if I'm retail, I could have gotten Ixalan for 110. I could have gotten Bloomborough for 120, and I could have gotten Duskborn for 120. Now, I didn't really talk a whole lot about the first half of 2025 in reprints because quite honestly, there weren't any. And this was a little more of a quiet period because Aether Drift came out and Innistrad Remastered came out and didn't really do much. Tarkir came out and got people a little amped up because they had dragons. But then we had Final Fantasy come out, and then everybody went absolutely batshit crazy until Spider-Man, different conversation. So I didn't really do anything other than buy the new sets, try to maximize allocation and spend across the board, and then sell all the stuff and churn it through release. But as we got to September, we got word that there was another wave of reprint coming from Ixalan, Bloomborough, Duskborn, Tarkir. So the displays that I had, and I only had a couple hundred of each, we sold out. I don't think we sold them into Discord, but if you have a couple hundred displays, you can sell them into TCG Player and eBay over a couple days. Mana Pool, you can probably sell them on. You can rip them for singles. You can sell the individual decks. When you're dealing with a handful of Commander displays, there are no liquidity issues whatsoever. And the beauty of this list, that as we go through here, is every single one of these items has an excellent amount of liquidity, which in the TCG space is kind of the utmost importance. I have a lot of Godzilla. The price of the last sales of Godzilla for the first set is like $150 a box. Could I sell 100 boxes at $150 tomorrow? Fuck no. It would take me probably 4 months to do. So this is not that, right? So as we take a look at this, in September, again, this is where the power of information really comes into play. Because no different than if you're in the stock market, you own individual stocks. If you have the misfortune of having a stock that misses earnings and you get smashed, you get set back for months, if not years, on that stock. If you get blindsided by a reprint from Wizards of the Coast, these become dead money for an awful, awful long time. But again, as you buy these and everything works through the system and the prices move up, or the product churns and it dries up, the prices move up rather substantially. So, I basically got the heads up in July, August that there was a reprint coming around the September timeframe. So all of these we sold. Now, if you would have sold at the absolute top, and this isn't really the absolute top, this is just kind of ballpark from looking at TCG Player, you're at 91% return over 9 months, which is phenomenal. For Ixalan, 75 for Bloomborough, only 66 for Duskborn. But Duskborn, I think, was a little bit heavier printed than the rest. So if we look at the reprints coming in September 2025, we sell them all for this, and I'll get into the math down below. But I just want to talk about the concept here. We had Ixalan, Bloom, Duskborn again, and we had Tarkir Commander. I went very, very heavy into Tarkir Commander. It's 5 decks. They're relatively cheap. And again, they're dragons. And it's performed, it hasn't performed as well as the other 3, but it's performed quite well. So if I look at the price today, if I wanted to sell these today, Ixalan Commander decks are $275. I don't factor fees or any of that stuff in here. I don't want to muddy the waters. This is conceptual, and this is really to show you guys that anybody can build meaningful wealth if they just have a little bit of patience and they follow the playbook. I'm kind of giving you guys the keys to the fucking castle here. And there's so much of this product as it comes out. There's millions of dollars of stuff that can be bought and not move the market all that much. So Ixalan Commanders are $275 now. Bloom are $230. $230, probably getting close to $270, $280 because there's not a whole lot. Duskborn is $370. Endless Punishment is going absolutely nuts. Tarkir's at $270. It's starting to go parabolic because 2 of the deck sets are pushing $100 in here. So from September until today, which is 10 months, right? 150% on Ixalan, 130 Bloom, 208 on Duskborn, and 107 on Tarkir. And I think what you're seeing here is the return from January to September, we weren't quite in the raging bull market that we were at. And these sets were they were an extra year away from rotating out. And again, this is Hasbro. Rotating out does not mean they're not going to reprint it. It increases the odds of it. But I will tell you again, with Wizards of the Coast, there are no rules. Their only rule is to maximize how much profit they can make. And by maximizing how much profit they can make, they have to be able to print a shitload of the SKU and push it into the market when they get to the point where they don't think the cost benefit of printing Duskborn, for example, over Bloomburrow, then Duskborn is going to go out of print. It's going to get mothballed, and that's it. So you have all these opportunities. Final Fantasy play. Now we're going to start talking about some of the play boxes. These things came out in November, and I think they actually touched like 115 or 110. And this is, look, whatever you guys think about Fortune Fire, you will get the best price because they are churning magic at below cost on a lot of this stuff. And it is worth the price of admission to buy some of this stuff as you think through the strategy here. But I pegged this at 130. Current price is 240. And yes, there is a reprint coming in Q4. So it's time to move it if you have it. 84.6%. And again, the reason why this works is you have the intel as to when things are going to be reprinted. So you can sell before you get smashed, and then you can rebuy when the price gets smashed. For any one of these items, they're all interchangeable. So moving on, February of this year. Lord of the Rings, an absolute fucking gift from God. Distro price was 140. I sold them at 160 into my Discord. I think some of the bigger sites were at like 170, 180. Either way, they're 320 today. They're going to be 400 by the end of August, maybe 500. They're drying up so fast. These are up 100%. And it's been 4 months. Bloomburrow play, 130. Pretty sizable reprint, not to the point where there was a lot in stock at Distro. It was in stock for like a month at a couple distributors, pushing 185 down, and it's going parabolic. 42.3%, Edge play 120 to 160, Foundations 120 to 160. The beauty of this is Bloomburrow play at Distro price is like 117. Edge is 98. Foundations was like 108, 106. Remember, Foundations is that weird, it's 36 packs, but it's a core set, so it's not, they didn't charge the premium that they did for Bloomburrow, Duskborn, and OTJ, and Karlov. So again, 33%. And if you start looking at the graphs of these items, it'll be dead money for the first 3 months, and then it'll go up $1 or $2 a week. Then it's going to go up $5 a week. And then as you get to items like Foundations play has about 100 boxes left in the market. Edge plays under 100 boxes. These things are going to go absolutely fucking parabolic in the next 2 months. And there's none of this coming. I am telling you, Wizards of the Coast has capacity issues. They've said as much. They will only be able to reprint the items where they're getting the biggest bang for the buck. Do you think they're going to print Edge of Eternity's play boxes instead of Final Fantasy play boxes? If you do, please turn off the video, sell all of your cards, and get a fucking job because this is not for you. A lot of these sets, in fact, all of these except for probably Bloomburrow play, they are going to be probably safe. Now again, 2027, Chris Cox continues to say that they have capacity opening up. I personally think it's the fact that they're starting to leverage Millennium Print Group, who's owned by Pokemon, to print some of their things. So let's go to right now, absolutely right now. Modern Horizons 3, I've been telling you guys, this is now out of stock at distribution. It's out of stock at almost every distributor. PhD has a limit of like 1 box a week. Magazine Exchange has the limit of like 6 boxes a week. Everybody else is sold out. This could be had. You could have bought thousands of boxes at $230. It's already at $285 in a month. There are less than 100 boxes on the market. This is going to be a $400 box probably by September. And I mean, look at these returns. This is a month. Now, Marvel Jumpstart. I will tell you that right now the boxes are over 140. This price is coming down. All of the supply coming into the market. Some of it was delivered last week. The bulk of it's going to be delivered this week. We sold ours for 110. I know some of the bigger stores were like 115, 120, but as Marvel Jumpstart works through the system, it's going to be the same graph as everything else. You're going to sit here. It's going to be probably between 110 and 120 bucks. Maybe it goes a little bit lower. I doubt it. The stores that are going to dump this shit are probably not touching something with Jumpstart in the name, because if they're dumb enough to sell on TCG Player at a massive loss, they're probably too dumb to buy something with Jumpstart, not realizing that it's an absolutely fucking phenomenal product. This set, probably by the end of the year, the boxes are back up to 150, 160. It's just the way it's going to work because people are going to rip through them like crazy to get to the singles. I'm sure the EV's sub 300 now, but the amount that they printed is about 75%, and this is just my estimate, of the initial wave. The initial wave was so tight that the box price went up to $170. Avatar Jumpstart could have as much as you want. It's still available at distribution. It's still available in the Wizards warehouse. Marvel Jumpstart is completely sold out. Everything went to distribution. It all kind of went through the process, and it's going to be gone relatively quickly. So if we look at all of these percentage points, these are all over very, very tight periods of time. And really from January 2025 to the middle of 2026. And you could have churned your money a couple different times. So I want to walk through the actual math here because I did try to prove this out. Let me make this a little bit smaller so we get the whole thing. So what I'm saying, January 2025, we're going to start with $10,000. We're going to buy an equal amount of Ixalan, Bloomburrow, Duskborn. We're not cherry picking anything. We're just saying, hey, these are all good products. They're getting smashed. This is what we're going to do, right? So we bought 30 displays of Ixalan, 28 Bloomburrow, 28 Duskborn. You could sell these in a day if you wanted to. No issue, liquidity issues, no anything. So we go to September 2025. We know there's a reprint coming. We need to sell these. We sell them at the current market price, which is up above here, which is 210, 210, 200. Not too crazy. So I don't have fees in here again. But again, now you've turned $10,000 into $17,753 in less than 9 months. It's absolutely fucking phenomenal. Now, we're going to sell these. When the reprint comes, we're going to strike. So we're going to buy back at the same price that was available in September 2025. I went back into TCG Player just to see ballpark what that bottom was for a couple weeks, because it's not that hard. Again, if you have the intel that you get from somebody like me or anybody who talks distribution and they know what's coming, you can time this stuff and not get burned. So now we bought the same. We bought a third, a third, a third. So you're 54 Ixalan, 59 Bloomburrow, 54 Duskborn. Actually, I just took the proceeds and rolled it in. Doesn't really matter. So today's price for these 275, 230, and 370. My God, I'm dyslexic. So if you look at this pricing, you're at $46,450 from a $10,000 investment. You flip through the same two SKUs twice in a year and a half. That's it. You buy once, you put them in a drawer, you put them in the closet. These things don't take up that much space. 150 of them, you can probably fill a closet. It doesn't cost you anything to store them. I know a lot of people complain because Commander displays are bulky, but a Commander display versus a play box, if the return's going to run about twice as much, it doesn't take up twice the space, and it's much, much lighter than a play box. So what I've done, I've sold almost all my Ixalan Commanders. I sold every single one of my Duskborn Commanders. I still have a good number of Bloomburrow because I had over 1,000 from the reprint. But I'm saying for this intent and purpose, we have the opportunity for Marvel Jumpstart, which we know is going to be, it's an absolute gift from the TCG gods. And we have Modern Horizons Play. So I'm going to move all of these, and I'm going to split it 50-50 between the two. So this gives me 101 boxes of Modern Horizons Play, 212 boxes of Modern Horizons Jumpstart. And I'm just going to go over here. Now, I know right now I need to have liquidity for November because I know there's a Final Fantasy Play reprint coming that I want to get in on because I know that this thing is going to go back from 120 to 240 in the next 6 to 9 months. It's just going to, because everybody's going to look at the end of 2027 and say, hey, is this the last reprint? People are going to fucking buy it. We have Lord of the Rings set. It's confirmed. Again, it's probably going to come out in Q4 just because they need revenue. These guys move this shit around all the time. We have a Fallout Commander reprint. You guys know it's coming. I've told you it's coming. And then we have this other non-disclosed reprint. I'd love to tell you guys, but I can't. This one has me the most excited. But what I'm going to do is my estimate for these pricing is October or November, I should say. Modern Horizons Play is going to be $400. It could be $500. Modern Horizons Play is basically Commander Masters 2.0. Only it's going to move faster because there's much less of it. Marvel Jumpstart, again, we might see a low of 110, 115, 120. It's going to churn through the system because everybody's going to rip it for singles, and it's going to push back up to 150 because the key mechanism in all of this is that there is no more supply coming to market. And as long as you know there's no more supply coming to market, these products have nowhere to go but up. So I'm going to sell these hypothetically at the price that I'm expecting them to be at. They're probably going to be a little bit higher, but either way, this is just July to November. So August, September. So 4 months. Now I'm at $72,000. Now, again, I am at the end of year number 2. I'm at $72,000. So I haven't quite got to the 100,000, but this is where you start running into the law of large numbers, where you start looking at the dollars and it's like, holy shnikes. They start to get real big real fast. So what I did was I said, okay, November, I'm going to ballpark the number of units that I can purchase here. And I'm just saying Final Fantasy Play, I'm at 130. Lord of the Rings set, say 200. Say it doesn't tank all the way down. It's 200. Fallout at 180. This other one at 200, which is kind of the same as Lord of the Rings set, more or less. So this is what I'm buying for the 72K. And again, I'm just taking the 72K divided by 4 and multiplying by the price. If I take the current price of these items, and I'm saying by May of 2027, so you're basically 29 months in, 30 months in, so not even 2.5 years. Now I'm sitting at just shy of $128,000 of value. It's probably going to be higher than that. And all you had to do was 1 buy, flip, 2 buys, flip, 3 buys, flip, 4 buys. So in 2.5 years, you've had to effectively make 4 different rebalancings of your Magic portfolio. And again, the reason this works so well is nobody's doing it. So when product comes out from distribution, every one of these broke ass Timmy stores dumps it at cost, below cost. You could put $1 million to work, $2 million to work in any one of these SKUs, and you could make this work, which quite honestly is part of my model with what I'm doing. Obviously the new sets that come out, I'm doing my sales, I'm churning them, etc. But I have a significant amount of Marvel Jumpstart and Modern Horizons Play I'm sitting on. All of my Lord of the Rings that I had from the last reprint, it's all sold. It's all sold north of $200. My Lord of the Rings Commander displays, I have 900 of them I'm sitting on still because quite honestly, I think they're going to be $1,000. So you don't necessarily have to sell them here if you don't want to. I'm just showing you guys the power of compounding. And most people think about compounding from an interest perspective. But when you look at Magic products and you know what's going to happen, you're not fucking guessing. You know what's going to happen. Now, you may be unfortunate and have an item that goes up and you don't get it all sold before the market tanks with a reprint. That could potentially happen, but you know what's going to happen. And the reason why people generate significant wealth in the world is they're not gambling. They're not betting on things. They know what's going to happen. In this scenario, we're diversifying across 3 SKUs. You can do 4, you can do 5, you can do 2, but one may outperform the other. But you know that every single one of these items is going to go up over a period of time. And that is just the world we live in. It happened in the bear market. Now, it obviously didn't happen to this velocity in the bear market, but now it's happening in the bull market. And the fact that these guys are having printing issues is only going to turbocharge your return. So here's your IRR calc. Initial 10 grand. After year one, 17,753. After year two, this is November, close to fucking off, 72,000. And I'm just saying May of year three, I actually have this calculated for the full year. So with a $10,000 investment in 2.5 years, doing the model at 3 years, you're a 321% IRR. You will not get that number anywhere. It's just not going to happen. And yeah, Rudy talks about the rotation into Magic. Maybe the rotation speeds us up, but these numbers are absolutely batshit crazy. I'm sitting on a lot of Avatar play. I'm sitting on a lot of Marvel play. I'm not sitting on it because I think it's going to go up tomorrow or the next month or the next month, but they're not stocking Marvel play. Marvel play is only the 20,000 boxes or whatever sitting at distro, 20, 25,000. That is going to dry up. And as it dries up, the sales velocity is going to increase. It's also a pretty fucking good set. Whether you like the skins or not, if they put the Marvel set out as The Hobbit, it would be the best-selling set of all time. Now, The Hobbit may be the best-selling set of all time anyway, but I digress. So for those of you out there who are just getting started, or you only have a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, it's not difficult to do as long as you're disciplined. And the other thing that I tell people that's most important is you cannot take any of your capital out of this. It's just going to impair you. That's why you put it in the closet and you forget about it. You sit in Discord or you pay attention to whomever you want to, but you need to know and you need to stay attentive to when these reprints are going to happen, because you need to avoid them. And you also need to understand when they're going to hit, because it's going to give you the opportunity for another flip and another buy-in. And every time you make 70, 80%, now you're buying 70 or 80% more at the initial buy-in price, and you do it all over again. From my perspective, I'm at the point where each one of these boxes is coming out and I'm able to put a couple $100,000 into it. All of this moves, it moves 100%. Now, instead of 200 grand, you have 400 grand. I've been doing this for a lot longer than most folks. But you put 400 grand in it and everything doubles in 9 months. Now you have 800 grand. Now this is the compounding that has effectively built Rudy's empire. And again, you have to stay disciplined and you have to pay attention, especially when you're just starting to grow. Because if you have a 30-year funds in Duskmorn and Duskmorn gets reprinted and it goes from 200 back to 120 and you're sitting on all of it, it's going to extend that small portion of your portfolio to dead money for another 9 months where you're just trying to get back to zero. So intelligence, I don't mean being smart, I mean having the data and having the information is literally the only thing that matters in this industry. Levels of capital come and go. Everybody's different, but having the information and being disciplined is going to get you guys over the top. And Magic's just getting started. You can hate Wizards, you can hate Hasbro, you can hate Chris Cox, but the fact of the matter is the product is performing. And if you're not paying attention, you're missing out. And this doesn't factor in collector boxes, doesn't factor in Gundam, One Piece, any Bandai games, any Pokemon. These are the products that the general public think are trash. That is why it's such a strong opportunity, and you are not limited with how much you can invest with this return. So anyway, I wanted to do this video. Again, I got the question in Discord. I wanted to put that out there and just kind of show you guys what the math looks like. I was actually surprised because it is significantly better than what I had anticipated, and I love it. So anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. Happy to answer any questions, talk to you guys. We have a really good group that does this shit. They break sealed for singled. We have an EV tracker, one that we actually test and we tweak and we make sure it's not inflating numbers or any of that crap, because we're all making live decisions that affect our financial well-being. So the data better goddamn well be right. So anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll talk tomorrow.